Today, on Be Something Wonderful, when you make your desires a choice, nothing can stop you. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. Good morning from Las Vegas here. I had some great sessions yesterday, and a few of them had questions about desiring, attachment. One of them said, why does desiring not feel good if all desire is divine? This is coming off the last few videos. A few questions on the levels of creation and where desire fits in. How do I not be attached to my desires? The whole idea of non-attachment, right? How do I put my I am first, right? This really ties in to desire, right? And I think one of my clients actually sent me a note or an email and said that, Tom, I get it. Putting your I am first is staying true to your desires. So I want to talk about desire and what is non-attachment? What does it mean? Why does desiring not feel good if all desire is divine? So we're going to hit this today and more. So I just want to remind you of a few things. Desiring implies that it's not yours. And desiring implies that creation's not within you. Desiring implies separation. Desiring implies lack. But choosing your desires implies fulfillment. Choosing your desires is coming from that idea that you're source, you're all that is. And you're choosing what part of all that you are that you want to experience next in the horizontal reality. So desiring, when you choose your desires, that's coming from you as source. When you're desiring your desires, that's coming from the small me of lack and separation, of feeling that you're separated from all that you want. Make your desire a choice. To desire a state is to have it. This is what Neville Goddard says. But really, what are we talking about? To choose a state is to have it or to be it. The absolute God desires nothing. So really, to choose it is not about desiring. It's actually desiring nothing and just choosing what part of all that is that you want to experience next. What part of all that you are that you want to experience. You don't need anything. Right? You don't desire anything. It comes from that God doesn't desire anything. Source doesn't desire anything. Nothing can be added or taken away from all that is from Source. So then what is it? What is that divine desire? It's to know yourself experientially as Source. That's what desire comes from. It's a choice within all that is to choose what part of creation, what part of all that you are do you want to choose to experience. That's where desire comes from. I and the Father are one. The real divine you desires nothing. You're one with God. You're one with the absolute. This means it's impossible for you to desire anything. Instead, you're choosing your desires. The desiring comes from thinking from the small me, the separated me. Not that I and the Father are one, but that the Father is separate from me, that creation's separate from me. All that is separate. And I must desire it and work towards it to get it, instead of just choosing it and announcing reality and becoming it in that choice. So let's hit this a little bit more. All desire then is to know yourself as Source, right? To know experientially all that isness that you are. Right? It's the divine desire to express yourself as life and love, as Source. That's what desire is. That's where that comes from. The divine desire is Source, a God, to know itself as the absolute. Right? That isness, to know itself as that beingness, to create life and more life. In other words, to express life and love. Right? Desiring your desires, that comes from the small me. That comes from lack and separation. That comes from I am not who I want to be. I do not have what I want. Right? Choosing your desires comes from the real self, the I am. I'm already all that. And I am choosing what part of that I want to experience in that linear horizontal reality. And what do I want to know myself now experientially, what I already know, right? So that's what we're talking about here. Desiring implies you don't have what you want and you are not who you desire to be. So staying in a state of desiring is not the same thing as choosing your desires. Choosing your desires is choosing what part of that divine desire to know itself as source do you want to experience next. That's where all desire comes from. To create life and more life, for life to know itself as life, to love to know itself as love, to God to know itself as source or all that is. You as that beingness, as that I amness within source, one with source, to know yourself as that higher self, as that one source. Choosing implies all that you want to be or have already exists within you as potential. That's what choosing means. It's the knowing that it already exists within you as potential. Everything you could ever be, do, or want. And you're choosing what part of that I am that you want to experience. Remember, source desires nothing. We talked about the levels of creation. I'm gonna hit those a little bit just to express where desire fits in, right? But in terms of the highest level, the absolute, the Father desires nothing, right? It's already everything. It's just isness. But so the absolute, the Father, implies the all or isness. That's level 7. Then you have the I am awareness, the Son, the beingness. In Him we live, we move, and exist and have our being. That's the potential to be anything. That's the potential to be all things. That beingness desires to know itself as source. Do you see it? It's one. They're not different. But that beingness, that I am awareness, the Son, in which you have that being, that you are one with, that I am, wants to know itself as that isness, as that absoluteness, as that supreme Father, as the all. So that's where desire, divine desire, fits in. It desires to know itself as source, level 6 and 7, to know itself as level 7. Because you can't, level 7, you can't know directly, right? You can't get there directly. How do you know yourself as source? By becoming what you want to be, by declaring that I amness, by experiencing that potential within you, you then know the Father. You have the experience of being the Father, right? So let's continue that. So to desire, to know yourself as source is to choose. That's where identity comes in. That's level 5. That's the identity. That's the self-concept. That's the version or a view or the vantage point throughout you see yourself and others in reality, right? You see the world, that I am. That's why Jesus asked, who do you say I am? That's it. If you're desiring here, you're not looking at yourself as source or as I awareness. Instead, you're being directed by those lower levels of creation. You're desiring, you're thinking you're not all that is. You're thinking you're separate from it. So where are you going to get your authority and power? Are you going to get it from the absolute, from that I am awareness, or are you going to get it from your assumptions and your beliefs and the temporary physical conditions of 3D reality? Where is your power as that identity, as that self-concept? Who has authority? This is what Jesus asked. You would have no authority over me unless it was given from above. Are you giving the below authority or are you giving the above the authority? That's the question on desire. If you're desiring, if you're stuck in desiring and feeling separate from source and separate from what you want, you're giving authority, you're getting authority from the 3D world of conditions, from thoughts, assumptions, feelings, emotions, and the physical 3D conditions, right? So level 6 and 7 is the power and authority given from above. That's what Jesus, when he was in front of Pontius Pilate, representing desiring things to be different, representing that 3D linear experience of desiring things, right? And this is what Jesus says, your I am. You could have no authority at all against me unless it had been given from above, unless it was a given from levels 6 and 7, right? That desiring, what's Jesus saying? That desiring has no authority over me unless it's given from above, unless it's a choice to experience myself as source, versus a desiring to fulfill myself or to complete myself, to feel that I'm lacking something. Do you see the difference? Who do you say I am? Right there, level 5, that decides it all. Your self-concept, your version. What vantage point are you going to look out at the 3D world? Are you going to look at it that you're missing something and that you need to be fulfilled from a desiring to have things to be different, a desiring for that 0.0001% to be different? Or are you going to look at it from above, giving the authority and power from above, from that I am awareness, to know yourself as the absolute? That's the difference. Remember, your desire doesn't come from a feeling, or your desire doesn't come from a feeling of lack, incompleteness, and separation, but rather from a choice to experience yourself as unlimited. That's what Jesus meant. You would have no authority over me unless it was given from above, unless that desire was coming from a feeling, from a knowing as source, to know yourself as source, and not a desire because you feel incomplete or lackful or need something to complete you from those lower levels of completion, right? So again, where's it coming from? You're here. You get to decide, who do you say I am? Is that power going to come from above, or is it going to come from below? Is it going to come from temporary thoughts and feelings and beliefs and assumptions and 3D physical conditions? Or it's going to come from the only assumption that is true, that I am that I am, where all forms, all identities, all potential realities exist within you, and you get to decide who you are. That's the difference. Your desire doesn't come from a feeling of lack and completeness and separation, but rather from the choice to experience yourself as unlimited. But desiring comes from that feeling, from those lower levels, feeling separate from your source. When Jesus asked that question, who do you say I am? His disciples answered, John the Baptist, Elijah, Jeremiah, one of the prophets. They went in all these things, all those things in 3D reality, all those lower levels, all those conditions. What are you going to define yourself as? That's the difference. That's the true meaning of non-attachment. That's freedom of choice and free will. Jesus was expressing with who do you say I am? That element of free choice and free will, that you get to decide that. But if you need something, if you're desiring something to be complete or to be fulfilled or to be happy, then you don't have freedom of choice. You don't have free will. You're saying, I cannot choose to be happy. I cannot choose to be that I am this. I can't choose to be fulfilled unless I have this thing that I want, or I am this person I want to be. Otherwise, I can't be it. That's what you're saying. It's the true meaning of non-attachment. You're attached to it. You need it. So you swing between desiring and doubting. You're desiring it. Oh yeah, I really want that, but I doubt that I can have it. Right? Your desires don't define you completely or fulfill you. That's the true meaning of non-attachment. That's the true meaning of freedom of choice. That's the true meaning of free will. That's the true meaning of I am that. They don't define you. They don't complete you. If you have to have or be something to feel complete or fulfilled, you are not free to choose. Do you see it? I've made this point before in earlier videos. That when you say you need something, I have to have her or him or this job or this money, no matter what, I have to have it or I'm not going to feel good, I'm not going to feel complete. You're not free to choose then. You're surrendering your free will because you're saying, I am not free to choose not to have it or not to be it. Do you see it? Whether it's a person, place, or thing, when you say you have to have it, you're saying then that you don't have the free will to choose not to have it or not to be it. You're giving up your free will by that needing and wanting and desiring. Do you see it? But when you choose your desires, you're expressing your free will as a creator. Remember, that's a God-given gift, your free will to choose and experience how you want to experience that all that isness that you are. Wow. You're surrendering your power, authority, and free will as I am, right? That power, you have no power over me unless it's given from above. But when you're saying that you need to have something, or you have to have something to be complete, to be fulfilled, then you're giving up your free will. You're saying that you can't choose not to have it, right? Or not to be it. You're surrendering your power, your authority, and free will as I am, or source, to the lower levels of creation. You're limiting yourself to your assumptions, to your feelings, to the three conditions, to those lower levels. Again, free will here to say, who do you say I am? But when you need something, when you need a condition to be a certain way, when you need things to change, when you're unhappy about those, when you're desiring, you're saying you don't have free will to choose. You're saying those things have to change, or I don't have free will to choose not to desire it. I don't have free will to choose not to have it. That's what you're saying. You're giving your power away to below, to those temporary conditions. So I really want to hit this here. So here it is. There's the horizontal experience. In the horizontal linear experience, looking at that less than 1% of reality, we're always feeling incomplete. We're always desiring or doubting, desiring or resisting, desiring wanted conditions, the things that we believe are good, or resisting the current conditions and labeling them as unwanted or bad. I don't want those. So you're either desiring or resisting. You're swinging like a pendulum back and forth. So what happens? You don't get anything, right? You don't get what you want. You just create this perpetual state of non-fulfillment. Desiring but not having. Desiring but doubting, right? So you swing between desiring and doubting or resisting. Positive and negative attachment. Positive attachment, negative attachment, right? They are but remember, those things are the same thing. They're the same energy. Do you see it? Extremes meet. It's all I am. So when you're labeling one good or one bad, you're saying, you're calling the same thing, the same energy, good and bad at the same time. Do you see how we get stagnant and we say nothing's moved? I haven't created anything? Because you're labeling the same thing, good and bad. All of this is what you want. You just don't see it yet. But when you label something good and something bad, that keeps you in this perpetual state of not having anything you want, right? So you swing between these negative and positive tensions. The same energy, remember, extremes meet. There's only unity. But they're different rates of vibration. That's all. That's the only difference. It's not about good and bad. They're just different rates of vibration. They're vibrating differently. What you're seeing depends on who you're being, right? But when you choose, you transcend that. You're here now from the I am. Instead, you choose from the vertical experience. You choose your desires. And now you've transcended it. You're no longer desiring and doubting. You're choosing. You take it for granted, right? Because otherwise, you're saying that the same thing is good and bad at the same time. This one energy, this one creation, this one beingness you're saying is good and bad at the same time. And so then you wonder why you're stuck, right? So I just wanted to hit that. When you choose what you desire, desiring and doubting makes no sense. Do you see it? When you choose it, these make no sense, these forms of attachment. That's what you would call positive attachment. Desiring, right? Desiring. Or doubting it is negative attachment. Either way, you're attached to what you want. I got to have this no matter what. Or I got to have this, but I don't think I can have it, right? You're swinging through that pendulum. But when you choose, you transcend it. Do you see that? When you choose your desire, desiring, doubting make no sense. It's a choice. You take it for granted from that I amness. I am that. That's already within me. Take it for granted means it's already yours within you as potential I am. It's your name, it's your nature, it's natural. That's what I am means. To desire and choose a state is to have it. And when the power and authority is given from above, it's a sure thing. When that power and authority is given from above, from levels 6 and 7, as you identify who do you say you are, and not from lower levels of temporary thoughts and feelings and conditions. Now you're transcending. Now it's a sure thing. Now you're in Barbados. I'm in Barbados. It's done, right? When you make your decisions a choice, nothing can stop you. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on videos. Thank you for joining our Facebook group, the Be Something Wonderful Ambassadors, at facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful. For joining us on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin. For joining our membership channel. That's growing. There's more content coming. There was something a few days ago now that was released. There'll be a new video coming on the membership channel. Also, a planned live stream coming soon. Creators, this is Tom Kearin with Be Something Wonderful from Las Vegas with great love, with great light, and infinite gratitude. We'll see you soon.